10-year-old Miles paused at the door that morning, backpack half on his shoulder, like there was something he wanted to say.
You okay, bud?
Nothing.
Miles said, and was gone before Colton could ask again. By noon, Colton would understand exactly what his son hadn't said. By the end of the day, a room full of strangers would understand something about Colton he'd never once said out loud himself. Before we continue, if stories about quiet dignity and showing up mean something to you, leave a like, subscribe, and let's continue. Colton Reyes had been fixing things for a living since Miles's mother died 4 years earlier. Furnaces, generators, industrial control panels, anything with wires and a pulse. It paid the bills, mostly. What it didn't pay for, Colton covered by skipping his own lunch more often than he let Miles know, and by wearing the same 3 work shirts on rotation so nobody at the shop asked questions he didn't want to answer. He'd meant to write Family Lunch Day on the calendar 3 weeks ago. He hadn't. The school's noon call reminded him, and guilt hit him so fast he was in his truck before he'd finished apologizing to the dispatcher. He arrived 20 minutes late, tool belt still on, grease still under his nails. By then, Miles was already sitting at a table full of families in pressed shirts and takeout from the good Thai place, and an empty chair beside him that had been empty long enough for everyone to notice. A boy named Bradley had noticed first. "Where's your dad? Is he coming or—" "He's coming," Miles said. "My dad said your dad fixes stuff, like machines and stuff." Bradley said it like a question that already had an answer attached. "He's an engineer," Miles said. "He fixed the whole water plant last year." Nobody at the table believed that exactly, though nobody said so directly. Bradley just smiled, the particular smile of a kid repeating something he'd heard at his own dinner table. "My dad says people like that don't make real money." The table laughed. Not cruelly exactly, just carelessly, the way kids laugh at things they don't understand the weight of yet. Miles stared at his tray. He didn't answer. Then the cafeteria doors opened, and Colton walked in wearing a shirt that said Colton's Electrical and Systems Repair, grease on his sleeve, a scuffed metal case in one hand. Miles's whole face changed. "Sorry I'm late, buddy," Colton said, sliding into the empty chair. "Transformer had other plans." "You came," Miles said, and something in his voice made it clear he hadn't been sure. "Always do," Colton said. "Just not always on time." If this story has stayed with you this far, subscribe and stick around, because what happened next wasn't the part Colton expected. Bradley's mother, 2 seats down, offered the kind of smile people give when they're trying to be polite about something they don't respect. "You must be Miles's dad. He's told us you're a repairman." "Something like that," Colton said, unbothered. Bradley, encouraged, pushed further. "Do you actually fix, like, real stuff? Or just basic stuff?" Colton considered the boy for a moment, not with anger, more like he recognized the question from somewhere. He opened the metal case instead of answering directly and pulled out a small circuit board, half repaired, wires exposed. "This came out of the traffic control system on 5th and Main," he said. "The one that's been stuck on green for 2 weeks. You know that intersection?" A few kids nodded. Everyone knew that intersection. Their parents complained about it constantly. "Found the short this morning, one bad solder joint from 1994. Colton held it up so the table could see. "Whole city's been driving around a problem the size of a grain of rice." A teacher walking past stopped. "Wait, you're the one who's been out at 5th and Main? The district's been asking about that intersection for a week." Colton nodded. Word moved through the cafeteria the way it does. Parent leaning toward to parent. A name repeated, recognized, repeated again. A man near the drink station said, "Reyes, you're the guy who got the middle school's boiler running during the cold snap. My sister teaches there." Within minutes, 3 more people had come by to shake Colton's hand. Bradley sat very still through all of it. When the noise settled, he didn't apologize right away. He picked at his tray for a long moment first, the way kids do when they're deciding whether being wrong in front of people is worse than staying quiet. Finally, "Sorry," he said, not quite looking at Miles. "For the stuff I said." "It's fine," Miles said. And mostly, it was. As trays were cleared, a man in a blazer approached Colton directly. Not one of the parents who'd already spoken, but someone Colton didn't recognize. "Walter Hines," the man said, offering a hand. "I run facilities contracting for the district. We've been paying an outside firm double what we should for repairs. You're apparently already doing better, for a fraction of the cost on a call-out basis." Colton wasn't sure what to say to that. "I'd like to bring you in directly," Walter said. 6 schools, steady contract work, benefits. No more chasing storm damage across the county for whatever a dispatcher decides to pay that week." Colton looked at Miles before answering. An old habit, checking without meaning to. "I'll need to think about it," Colton said. Not because he doubted the work. He'd known what he was capable of for years. He just hadn't expected the moment someone finally noticed to happen in a cafeteria in front of his son, on the one day he'd almost forgotten to show up at all. That evening, walking to the car, Miles was quiet for a while. Then, "Dad, can I tell you something?" "Always." "When they were saying that stuff, I felt kind of embarrassed," Miles said carefully. "Not of you, of me for caring what they thought." He frowned, like the sentence hadn't come out right. "Does that make sense?" "More than you know, bud," Colton said. "But then you showed up, and you didn't even care that they were being weird about it, and I stopped being embarrassed." Miles shrugged, the way kids do when they've said something bigger than they meant to. "I don't know. I just wanted to say that." Colton didn't say anything about honest work, or pride, or any of the things he could have said. He just put a hand on his son's shoulder and let the moment sit there, unspoken, the way most of the things that mattered between them usually did. He called Walter back 2 days later and took the contract. Sometimes the thing that finally gets you noticed isn't the biggest job you've ever done. Sometimes it's just showing up late, in the wrong shirt, to the one lunch you almost forgot. If this story stayed with you, share it with someone who believes hard work deserves to be seen. And tell us in the comments, if you were Colton, would you have corrected the table that day? Or let your work speak for itself, the way he did?